Hello, everybody. Welcome to Talk About House. I'm Todd.
I'm Juana.
Okay, we are going to talk about Las Vegas real estate market, highest prices ever, but maybe that won't last. We're going to go into detail about that. Market's starting to get a little wonky. But first, we want to apologize. We haven't made a video in a while. Okay, been super busy, and then a lot of international travel,
Okay.
which we'll talk about in another video. Okay, but we have exciting news for the channel. If you're a regular viewer or a new viewer, Juana, what is the new format for the channel for them? How it affects them?
Okay. So we are going to keep our shirts on.
Shirts on?
Okay. And we are going to give you an opportunity to watch the videos minus commercials.
Yes.
Because I don't like commercials. I don't know that you do, but I don't like commercials. So if you watch the video for the first 48 hours after Todd posts the video, no commercials. After 48 hours, you're on your own.
Yeah, so basically what's going to happen is, so we don't control, we just basically say commercials on or off kind of a thing. YouTube decides that. So we've had people complain about the commercials. So this is what we're going to do. When we post the video, for the first 48 hours, commercials will be off.
Okay.
They won't be on. After 48 hours, I'll go on and enable the commercials. So if you watch this video and there was a commercial on it, that means you just didn't watch it within the first 48 hours. So this is an incentive to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and then as soon as the video comes up, you have 48 hours, you can watch it commercial free.
Okay, perfect. This is a holiday weekend, so watch the video so you'll have plenty of time to watch it over the holiday weekend.
You can watch it a couple times if you want
There
to
you go.
learn information. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start by just jumping into data. This is the real-time micro profile for Las Vegas. This data is current as of about just within the last week. It's published every week by Altos Research. Okay, so we'll just run through these and then we'll go in depth. We've got some big charts we're going to go in depth on, talk about what all this means. Median list price, that first one up there, $593 is the highest it's been. You can see that trend. It's been trending up. That trend line is only about 3 months. We've got charts that have a lot more data on it than this. Median price of new listings about $550. Price per square foot, $281. We have a big chart on that. That's the highest it's ever. Average median days on the market, of course, are declining. We're going to talk about that, why that's happening. Price decreases and increases are moving up a little and down a little. We'll talk about that. Inventory is increasing. Not normal for this time of year. We'll talk about that. And then the median rent, $2,300, is basically where it's been probably for a while. Okay, Wanda, let's jump to this first slide. Price per square foot. Now this is not median home prices. We don't use median home prices when we talk about homes. We talk about price per square foot. This is a better picture of the entire market than just blocks of small homes or blocks of more expensive homes selling. If you look back here at 2022, there were people that said home prices will fall 40, 50% if interest rates hit high. We said they would moderate. When you look at this chart, you can see home prices fell almost 8% from over the next course of the next maybe year after that. It doesn't look like it on the chart because the bottom of the chart's not zero. It's $175 a square foot. But they've tended to move higher over the last 2 years. Juana, if you had been told that interest rates would stay in the 7% range for the next 3 years and said home prices, median per square foot home prices be higher than they were back then in 2022, a lot of people would have said you were crazy. Why were we right then, and why have they moderated and not absolutely just fallen off a cliff?
So a lot of reasons. One of them is just supply and demand, right? We have more demand than we have supply. We're growing by population here in the Las Vegas area because we're still benefiting from other areas that are losing population. People are coming here. So of course, the more people come here, the more demand there is. So that's pretty straightforward. The other thing is prices rise with inflation. Even though home prices are not counted in inflation, home prices do rise. You know, things like labor, materials, all of that influences it. Everything's gone up, right? And housing is one of them. The thing to remember is that when you're looking at real estate prices over time, they tend to go up over time. Especially the longer your viewpoint, the more that becomes very apparent.
Yeah, if you zoom out, we're going to do a whole video on this. If you were to look from home prices from 1900 to today, you basically see this trend line where they just basically go up. There's a little bumps in it, but they basically just go up. That's mostly inflationary. That's one. Two is product improvement.
Right.
A house built in 1900 is a one or two bedroom, 900 square foot house. Today they're 4 bedroom, 2,000 square foot house. They're on.
Well, there's also a matter of scarcity as well, right? Because, and what I mean by scarcity is location. It's not that we can't build more homes. Of course we can. But particular neighborhoods, right, they're not getting any bigger. So there's scarcity regarding the homes available in a particular neighborhood. So a great example is if you want to live on Coronado Island, then, the island isn't getting any bigger. So there are only a certain number of homes. So that's scarcity.
11,000.
Okay. Same thing with Las Vegas. If you're looking to live in the Willows, well, that's it. The Willows has the number of homes that it has, and you're not going to get any bigger than that. If you're looking to live in whatever neighborhood that's already been built out, there aren't going to be any more homes built. So that's what I mean by scarcity. So that sort of thing forces prices up. So for example, I was in a neighborhood today, and it's a neighborhood that is in Summerlin. And again, this neighborhood has been built out for the last 30 years. This home was about approximately 30, I think it's like 25 years old or something like that. And the people that came to this house, they were all looking to live in the neighborhood, and they were saying how not a lot of homes go up for sale in that neighborhood. So again, that speaks of scarcity.
Okay. All right. So home prices have reached a highest ever, but a lot of it's inflationary. And a lot of it is just like Juana said, there's more still people coming here, and there's some parallels to 2008, 2006 to 2008, but not really. And we're going to go into those in detail. Okay, next chart, median days on the market. Now the Crash Bros what they'll do is they'll show this chart, but they'll pick like one market, like a specific market in Florida where it's increasing. Even though inventory's climbed a little, and we have a whole chart on that, the days on market have actually been declining. So if you look at this chart, if you go back to the beginning of the year, days on market was about maybe 70, which historically is still pretty low, right? And then it's down now to probably 50 something. Now, it's hard to tell on this chart because this chart only goes back like 5 years. But if you go back far enough, this is historically the last 5 years, the housing market's been pretty hot, with the exception of some time in 2022, maybe in the fall.
Okay.
So that's normal for this time of year to see median days on market, even though there's more homes to pick from than there have been.
Right. So I mean, we are going to see time on market increase as our inventory increases, and particularly as we go into the fall. That's normal. It's cyclical. That's what happens every year.
Okay. Next chart is inventory. This is a little bit of a surprise to me. It is starting to climb. This is the amount of inventory that we have. It's not usual for this time of year for inventory to climb. That means we have people selling for whatever reason that they're doing so. But what's interesting about this is that normally when you see more homes on the market, that means softening of prices. So maybe 6 months from now, home prices are less. Who knows by how much? Probably a little bit less, a couple of percent. Maybe some buying opportunities October through December of next year. Right.
So the climate inventory is based on a lot of things, but anecdotally speaking, the things that I see is two major components.
Okay.
The first component is optimistic pricing on the part of sellers.
Okay.
And so when a home is priced above market value, that's going to take longer to sell. And that's part of what's causing this rise in inventory, is that homes are maybe sitting on the market a little bit longer than they have in the recent past, even though our time on market is really actually very good. And then the other reason we have this buildup in inventory is buyers. While there's still a lot of buyer demand, there is so much noise in the news that it's just giving buyers a lot of anxiety as to how to move forward. Interest rates have been going up and down, mostly up, and that's making buyers nervous. Everything else that's in the news, I think we're in a point in our society where we are over consuming the news and not curating enough, and that's causing kind of paralysis by analysis. So that's part of what's happening with inventory.
Did you just make that up?
I wish I was that clever, but I'm not.
Okay. Another thing that I'm seeing anecdotally that had disappeared the last few years, move-up buyers. Mm-hmm. Buyers that are, I want to buy another house, but I got to sell a house. So what's happening is we're seeing more people buy, but then more people are selling too. Mm-hmm. And remember this, when you look at this chart, if you go over there to the number of inventory, this is a smoothed out 90-day average of inventory. So the actual inventory is probably I think it's 4,000. But what's interesting about this is at the peak of before the housing crash in Vegas, it was 26,000. Mm-hmm. That's how many homes got on the market. And remember, Vegas was like more than a third smaller than it is now. Vegas has grown out and it's a lot bigger. There's a lot more people here. So you'd have to have 40,000 houses on the market mm-hmm. for purchase to equal proportionately the amount of homes it had that caused the housing market to crash here, which is substantial price declines. I'm not saying we won't see price declines. I think housing in Vegas prices will moderate. Okay, after the fall of 2022, it looked like this bubble had sort of popped, like I said, about 8%. Home prices started this nice gentle rise, which they've been doing. I predict, just like we said in 2022, home prices would moderate. The crash bros are out there saying they're going to collapse again, yada, yada, yada. They say that they've been saying that every year since 2019. They've been wrong every year. From anecdotal information, because you're seeing a lot of deals, mostly on the super high end, and you're talking to people, what is the sentiment out there? What are you actually seeing that's happening?
I'm seeing buyers look. There are a lot of buyers looking. So we do track week over week the number of buyers that are looking. And it's really interesting because when there's a lot in the news, then the numbers of buyers that are looking go down. And then when the news is kind of takes a breather, then we see buyers spike again. So there's this kind of blippity blip thing going on with the buyers because there is so much in the news cycle. And again, I kind of go back to that. I think it's not something to be discounted. I think it is something to understand and appreciate what impact that has on the short term of the market. On the long term of the market, I don't think it has any real impact, okay? I think it does on a day-to-day, but not when we're looking at the overall picture. I think the overall picture is at least for Las Vegas, the real estate market is strong. Do I see prices spiking up? No. Do I see prices going down? Not really. I see, kind of to your point, moderating, which is maybe code for basically being stable. Not a whole lot happening. I know that's not exciting. I know people want prices to go up so they can sell their homes. I appreciate that. But just remember that when you get to sell your home, you also have to buy. So if you're selling high, you're going to have to buy high too. So stability is actually good for everybody. It helps us all make better choices and make more informed choices and not rash decisions. Do
you think there'll be some deals in the fall if you're an investor and maybe there's 6,000, 7,000 houses on the market? You think you could find somebody in the $400,000 price range that would maybe, knock off 20 grand and.
Well, I think that's happening now because, so that's kind of a really interesting point. Knock off 20 grand off 400,000. Okay, yes. But does that mean that they're taking 20,000 less than what it was worth? Or does that mean that it was priced 20,000 more than what it was worth? That's an important distinction. And that's what I meant at the beginning when I said that a lot of people have optimistic pricing and then the home actually sells for market value because market value is what a buyer is willing to pay and a seller is willing to accept.
Okay. If you like the idea of 48 hours commercial free,
yes.
Then if you're watching it this weekend, then Memorial Day weekend, then put something in the comments to tell us that you like it. And if you'd rather watch the commercials, tell us that. or you can just wait 48 hours and then you get to watch all the commercials. I don't know. There are probably 2 or 3 in a video. We do like 15-minute videos, so probably a couple pop up. But there should be no commercials. And if there is a commercial, tell us. It's not our fault. YouTube just stuck it there because we have it disabled. It's going to be disabled when the video posts.
Okay. So we missed you guys. Hope you guys had a good time with the video. Please leave us comments, give us suggestions for videos. We love hearing from you. Your feedback is very valuable. If you see us out in the wild, please say hello. We appreciate it. We love seeing you guys at Costco and the park and everywhere else. Restaurants, wherever we see you, we love seeing you. So please come up to us and say hello. We're back. We'll keep making videos, providing that you guys want videos and you're watching and leaving us comments. And we'll see you on the next video. Bye.
Bye.